Hey everybody, it's Ben and I'm back once again with another video for you guys. Today I'll be reviewing X-Men Legacy, Volume 2, Invasive Exotics. This series is written by Spurrier, and on the second volume we have Tang Ang Huat and Paul Davidson returning to the art duties. This second volume collects issues 6 through 12 of the X-Men Legacy series, which is published by Marvel Comics as part of their Marvel Now initiative. Tang Ang Huat does the artwork for issues 7 through 9 and issue 11, and Paul Davidson does the artwork for issues 10 and 12. On the inking we have Craig Yang, who does the inking for Tang Ang Huat's issues, and we also have Paul Davidson doing his own inking for his own work. On the colouring we have Jose Villarrubia and Rachel Rosenberg, once again continuing to reprise their roles as regular series colourists. Jose Villarrubia does the artwork for does the colouring, for issues 7 through 9. Rachel Rosenberg colours issues 10 and 11, and we have a fill-in colourist for issue 12 of Chris Peter. So the story starts out right after the events of issue 6, which is collected in the first volume, which is called Prodigal, with Legion, or David Haller, having refused Wolverine's offer to join up with the X-Men, and he's decided to basically strike out on his own. So Legion's, or David's, first port of call is a church which is run by religious fanatics who really don't like mutants, and they base their hatred of them around religious baloney that their fanatical minds will believe pretty much anything, and David is doing this in a pretty funny and a pretty cool way of trying to impress his tentative love interest, Blindfold, or Ruth, who we met in the first volume. And you also have some really great dialogue exchanges, some great moments between both Ruth and David. Particularly Ruth's outrage over the fact that David is actually in this church of religious fanatics, which are the same people which poisoned and corrupted her brother Luca's mind, who we also met in the first volume, as you can see there and there. At the same time, you also have some really funny exchanges, particularly Ruth's reaction to the word date when David uses it, and there's also another great funny moment between Ruth and David where she gives David a little astral projection kiss on the cheek, and you also see David's reaction, and one of the members of the church asks him, are you okay, buddy? You look a bit punch drunk. And David just puts it down to quote unquote divine purpose, but you can see Ruth's reaction, and you can see through Tang Ang Huat's artwork that she's smiling at this reasoning behind it. At the same time, you also have a really cool cameo appearance by Abigail Brand, who is in charge of SWORD, which is an acronym which stands for Sentient World Observation and Response Division. And you have Legion basically using Abigail Brand's interpersonal relationship with Beast, or Hank McCoy, to his advantage, which there's a really great reaction from the religious fanatics, and there's also a really great funny reaction from Abigail Brand where she gives Legion a warning that she'll be watching him. And at the same time, you also have a really great pretty sweet moment between Ruth and David where he asks, am I ever going to see you again? And Ruth just turns around and says, call me. And you can also see David's reaction. So, Spurrier does a really great job of really developing the relationship between Legion and Blindfold. And at the same time, you have the two of them actually on a date in the let me get the name right. Or let me make sure I get the name right. In the psychosphere, which is the hang on. The psychosphere, which is the dream plane. Sorry. So they're on the astral plane, but they're actually also in the psychosphere as well. And there's some great, again, really great dialogue exchanges between the two. And there's also some really great discussion of David's newfound plan and strategy for being able to live up to his late father, Charles Xavier's legacy of a world where both humans and mutants can peacefully coexist. And you also have David's newfound strategy, which is to be preemptive as opposed to reactive, which he sees the X-Men or the let me see if I can get the thought right. Just bear with me one sec. Legion refers to the X-Men as quote-unquote useless spandex tosspots, which I thought was pretty funny. Oh dear. So you have Legion's sort of feelings towards the X-Men, and basically he wants to be, like I said, preemptive as opposed to reactive, as you can see there. And sorry, Spurrier's humour just really cracks me up, and there's some really great, generally laugh out loud humour moments in this, while at the same time really being really weird and psychedelic and crazy, but in a really, really cool way, on the part of Spurrier, as well as the creative team for this series. Also, the original series covers continue to be absolutely fantastic, which are once again being done by Mike Del Mondo, as you can see there. You then have the official date between both Ruth and David, and the two of them, like I said, they share some really great dialogue exchanges, and there's a great scene where the two of them share a little kiss just before David transports the two of them to the moon. And there's a really great and a really cool reference to Alan Moore's Watchmen, particularly the scene where Dr. Manhattan and his wife Laurie, or Silk Spectre, the second Silk Spectre, are on the moon together. So I thought that was a really great, really cool comics reference on the part of Spurrier. And at the same time, you also have some more discussions about Legion's feelings towards the X-Men, and at the same time some more discussion between both he and Ruth about his newfound plans in terms of how to basically do justice by his late father's memory, and at the same time to live up to his father's legacy, as you can see there. As I said, Tang Ang Huat's artwork continues to be absolutely fantastic, as well as the both the colouring and the inking as well. Unfortunately for David and Legion, for Legion and Blindfold, the date doesn't go too well, and but at the same time you have Legion dropping off Blindfold at the Gene Key School for Higher Learning, and just before he departs, he admits to Ruth that he thinks he loves her. So once again, there's some really great, really sweet moments between the two. And like I said, Spurrier's writing and storytelling continues to be absolutely fantastic. And with issues 10 through 12, we have Paul Davidson taking over the art duties. And at the same time, you have Legion striking a deal with this gold-plated demon-looking personality in his own psyche, which has taken on the visage of his father. And at the same time, you have Legion's internal struggles with not only learning how to control the infinite number of multiple personalities in his head, which all have access to their own unique power or ability, but at the same time, you also have Legion's internal battles in the respect that he's battling with the fact that he's thinking that maybe this gold-plated demon, which has taken on the visage of his father, could actually be the late Charles Xavier. and so he strikes a deal with this gold-plated demon for a glimpse at the future, as you can see there and there. Paul Davidson's artwork continues to be absolutely fantastic, as well as the his own inking as well of his own work. At the same time, you also have Spurrier really continuing to do a fantastic job of developing Legion as a character, but at the same time showing his own internal struggles, but also he's learning to gain a greater degree of control over the infinite number of personalities in his head and the all the various different powers that he has access to. At the same time, you have Legion traveling to San Francisco, where he meets the character of Marcus Glove, who along with a team of scientists have come up with a pill which will essentially, for lack of a better choice of words, neutralize the X gene or the mutant gene. At the same time, you have more fantastic writing on the part of Spurrier. Through the dialogue exchanges and the conversations between both Legion and Marcus Glove, you really come to really buy into what this guy is actually trying to sell Legion, and you also have you also begin to agree with what Legion is saying in his inner monologue, particularly where he says, let's have a look, see if I can find it. A good man, an inspirational man, a generally nice guy, which, again, fantastically done on the part of Spurrier, in the respect that this character you don't know a lot about, and he does look like a bit of a scarecrow given everything that the guy has been through, because you do get his backstory on how Marcus Glove came to be the way he is. But at the same time, like I said, you have not only Legion buying into what he's selling, but also yourself as a reader when you read this, well, at least I did anyway, of what he's trying to sell to him. At the same time, you also have a really great question on the part of the readership as to whether or not Legion will actually take this pill, and essentially he doesn't want to, or he doesn't seem to want to control his powers anymore. He just wants to get rid of them. And at the same time, another standout cover on the part of Mike Del Mondo, which is the cover to issue 11, which is once again absolutely fantastic. At the same time, while this is going on and Legion is having a tour of the operation, you have Blindfold trying to assemble a ragtag team of X-Men to go to David's rescue, as you can see there. At the same time, like I said, you have Legion battling his own internal demons, particularly this new red giant-looking demon, which again is might be a projection on the part of the gold-plated demon that I mentioned earlier, which is taken on the visions of his father. And you also have Legion coming to the realization that maybe this isn't his father, and maybe this the gold-plated demon is just playing on his feelings towards his father to its advantage, as you can see there and there. At the same time, while this is going on, you also have Legion battling in reality against Johann Schmidt, otherwise known as the Red Skull, as you can see there. And if you've been keeping up with Rick Remender's Uncanny Avengers series, particularly the first arc of the first 5 issues, you'll know that the Red Skull now has access to Charles Xavier's brain and Charles Xavier's telepathic abilities. And there's some really great action and some great fight scenes which take place in issue 12 between Blindfold and the ragtag team of X-Men, as well as Legion as they go up against the Red Skull, as you can see there and there. You also have the deal between Legion and the gold-plated demon coming into play. At the same time, you also have Legion receiving help from an unexpected ally, and on the final page you have Legion conquering his inner demons, and at the same time you have some great motivations and some great future plans for the character moving forward in terms of his own motivations and his own plans for mutant kind. Spurrier's writing and storytelling continues to be absolutely stellar and absolutely fantastic, as well as the equally on-par artwork of Tangan Kwat and Paul Davidson, as well as the inking by Craig Yang and Paul Davidson doing his own inking as well, and the colouring done by Jose Villarrubia, Rachel Rosenberg, and the fill-in inker for issue 12, Chris Peter. If you're a fan of X-Men Legacy, if you're a fan of the lesser known, more obscure characters such as Legion, or if you're a fan of Spurrier, if you're a fan of the previous incarnation of X-Men Legacy written by Mike Carey from a few years ago, then I highly recommend you check out X-Men Legacy under Spurrier. Just to give you a bit of context, I knew Legion as a character, I knew him by reputation, but until I read the first arc of Spurrier's X-Men Legacy series from Marvel Now, I didn't particularly care for Legion. He was a character I could sort of take or leave, if you will. But Spurrier just does an absolutely fantastic job of really making Legion a really interesting, intriguing, engaging and compelling character to read about. At the same time, really managing to pull off the development of the relationship between both Legion and Blindfold. Unfortunately, this is one of the most underrated and the most underheralded books of the Marvel Now Initiative, which I think is a crying shame, because this series is absolutely fantastic, and I really think that more people should be reading this. So if you're a fan of, like I said, everything I've outlined just now, then I highly recommend you check out X-Men Legacy. Like I said, absolutely fantastic series, and I really don't want it to go anywhere. If I had to give this second volume of X-Men Legacy a rating, I'd give it an absolute 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. And that about concludes this review video, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the video. As always, if you liked it, thumbs the video up. Didn't like it, thumbs it down. But as I always say, if you thumbs down the video, by all means feel free to tell me why in the comments below, or send me a private message. If this is your first time here and you'd like to see more of my videos, by all means please feel free to subscribe. And until next time, this is Gambit896 signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.